sure what happened there. Um, for some reason, it just the sound cut off. I think it's because like I have like sometimes when I have a timer on my phone, it literally like just cuts out the sound and it won't fix it or nothing. So I do apologize for that. Um, but I do gotta go to church very soon, so I'm really gonna only be on this second live for like 5, maybe 10 minutes. Um, but but just going back to what I was talking about, we gotta understand that it isn't that God wants us to go to hell. God does everything in his power to lead us to heaven. He gives us provision. He gives us grace. Now, I think the clearest example to me that God does not want us to go to hell is the fact that he gives us grace. Why would God give us grace if he did not want us, you see what I'm saying, to follow him, to be in his light? You see what I'm saying? God gives us grace because he understands that we sometimes are blind, are ignorant. You see what I'm saying? And so him giving us grace is him giving us an opportunity to be able to follow the path of righteousness, to be able to get back into his comfort, to get back into his light, or if we never knew God, to be able to know him. You see what I'm saying? And this is why I got so much patience with people that I never had before, is because I realized that it is not about me. You see what I'm saying? Who am I to be impatient with this person? But God has been patient with me despite all the stuff that I've done. You see what I'm saying? It's like once you start understanding God's view of the human condition and the human heart, you start to understand that, God has purposed us for something far greater than we can truly understand until we hearken ourselves to his voice. And in verse 25 of Romans chapter 1, it says, who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator. And so this is sometimes why, we can't understand why, God isn't hearing us or God isn't responding. It's not that God isn't responding, it's that we have rejected his way and turned the truth that he has told us into a lie. And then when the actual truth comes back around and is shown to us, we think that truth is a lie, but that's really the actual truth. And so, in a way, we deceive ourselves. So I'm gonna go back to Proverbs a little bit. Actually, no. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna connect that Romans chapter 125, who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator. I'm gonna connect that to Isaiah 5:20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. This is that self-righteousness. You see what I'm saying? And we live in the time now. I'm telling y'all, this is the time we live in it, where what is good, what is righteous. And I know a lot of y'all believers probably deal with this, where you go out into this world, you dealing with people, and you walk in that love. You know you ain't doing nothing wrong. You know when you come into that environment, you really do mean well. You really do want the best for people. You really do want to try to be the best version of yourself possible for God and do His work. But you got to understand the world we live in. Good is considered evil, and evil is considered good. We live in an age where what is unrighteous is promoted, and what is righteous is cast aside. And so you got to understand that when God says that the world hated Him first, it really did, and this is why. Because just like they were doing back then, and you can read it in the Gospels, they were perverting what Jesus was saying. They did that all the time. They were trying to always catch him up in his words. And this is the same thing we face. This is why you got to be discerning, and you got to know not to cast pearls on the swine. And I'm not saying people are necessarily swine, but you got to know who you're talking to. You got to know to not waste, what I'm saying, your time on people who are willfully not trying to hear about God, who are missing, who are trying to misunderstand you intentionally. There's a difference between someone who doesn't know and is just, disagreeing with you because they may not understand God. Maybe they haven't had that truth revealed to them. And then there's a difference between someone who simply rejects God outright. Their heart is completely hardened. There's no point in you talking to that person because they have already made their decision. And so we got to understand that in this world, what is considered good, what God has told us, and what we know to be true, this world does not accept that. So don't lose heart. Rejoice, knowing that when you go through temptation, when you go through persecution, when you get put through that fire, you are giving God glory, y'all. You are giving him glory. You see what I'm saying? Because he sees that, okay, they don't like her. They don't like him. But he's still pushing. He's still doing my work. He's still staying faithful to me. She's still staying faithful to me. I will bless them. I will give them provision. And I'm telling y'all that because I have been in this position. Like literally, man, like I told y'all in the last live. I literally, a couple weeks ago, man, I did not know how a lot of stuff was gonna get figured out, man. But God is so good, man. Like I'm telling you, it's like when I look back personally on certain situations I've been in, and I'm like, whoa, like, and I say this because of this, and really try to do this, y'all. When you're going through a time, when you're going through seasons where you're in a drought, where there's a storm, where there's a problem that you don't know how you're gonna fix, look back in your life to times where you've been through something similar, where maybe it's not the same situation, but you didn't know how to solve it. There was no man, there was no person you could go to. It was trusting God. And you didn't know how God was going to provide that answer, but he provided it. You got to look back in your life and know that God has always been there. So that when you go through it currently, you know that nah. I don't gotta freak out. I don't gotta trip. I know God is going to deliver me. I know he's going to bring that solution. I know that he's going to strengthen me. And he says what? He says he gives his grace to the humble. He also says that those who exalt themselves will be humble, and those who are humble will be exalted. And what that means is if we take that meekness, if we take that graceful spirit, not trying to get something out of it, but genuinely, God will exalt you to heights that you never seen. He will put you in places where you may be around darkness, but your light is so bright because you are stronger in God. You are faithful to God. You are more rooted in God, and He will bless you tenfold. I'm telling you, I've been in this position. I'm in this position. I'm telling you, like I look back years ago to where I was, to how blind I was, and I'm so grateful that I went through what I went through. In the time, I hated it. I didn't like going through what I went through. I didn't like losing people in my life, but I had to realize, man, it wasn't that they did something wrong. And, oh, you did this, and they like that. They tripping. No, I was tripping. I was wrong. I was blind. You see what I'm saying? And when you take that heart posture, you no longer blame other people. You can have a graceful spirit. You can accept God's correction and you can walk in this world with a sense of peace because you know that you are limited. You know that you don't know. And so you can pray to God. You can ask him for the answers. You see, those, he says, if you seek me with all your heart, I will be there. You see what I'm saying? But we got to seek him with a true heart. We got to truly trust that what he's telling us is actually going to lead us to where we want to go. But so many times, because like I said, we live in this world where everything is so instant, we can't trust the process. There was a great a bar that I heard in this like poem that I saw online. He said if February don't March, April May. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? If it don't happen in this way at this time, it may happen later. You know what I'm saying? And so that was kind of like the way that poem, that line meant is that even though you don't see the you don't understand the whole process, progress is still happening. Because God, when he guides you, you may not see all the work being done because guess what? And this is what one of my favorite teachers is pastors is. He said this, Stephen Darby. He said, dang, I almost forgot it. But he said something along the lines of like, damn, and I hate forgetting what I was gonna say. But he was just basically talking about you gotta just trust the process. You gotta know that by taking that step forward, God is oh, I know what it was. So he was saying that a lot of the progress that happens, it is unseen. And so we thinking because it's not happening in the material world, man, God ain't doing nothing. And that was literally me. I was like, man, God, I've been praying, I've been being faithful. Like, what is happening, Lord? Why is it that I feel like you're not answering me? But then I realized, like, why am I also getting tested more than I ever have? Because guess what? The closer you get to where that door, then floodgates of blessings, that overwhelming provision that God is going to provide you, the devil knows you close to it. He knows you right there. He knows you right there. So of course he gonna put all this pressure. Now Stephen Darby said a great quote, and I'm gonna get to y'all comments. But Stephen Darby said a great quote. I'm gonna leave it on this. He said that he said it's like when someone it's like a kickoff, like a kick return. And I'm gonna explain why he said this. So it's like you kick off the defensive team, which is Satan's army, kicks off the ball, right? And you at the beginning, right? And you get the kickoff, you running it back, you get from the 10, you get from the 20 to 30, and the devil's like, okay, I'm not really worried about it. He's still in his own territory. He's not really progressing that much yet. But then you start getting to the 40, the 50, and you start crossing into the opponent's field. And you're like, hold on. Devil's like, hold on, he breaking tackles. Hold on, he juking him. Hold on. I gotta send them all. I gotta send as many demons his way to tempt him. Because clearly God is making this man strong enough to shed all these tackles, shed all these demons, shed all this lust, shed all this temptation. So that when you get to the other opponent's 40, 30, 20. We wonder on why you going through all this pressure, all this tribulation. It's because you right there near the end zone. The devil know you about to score this touchdown. So of course he's gonna send the kicker gonna try to tackle you. All of the team is running after you. But when you trust God and you don't look back and say, oh, well, why are these people chasing me? You keep running forward. You keep breaking them tackles. You're going to get to the end zone, and God is going to give you the blessing that you've been asking for, y'all. So I hope that y'all have a blessed day. Happy Easter to all of y'all. And I'm very passionate about this because I love y'all and I want y'all to be encouraged. I want y'all to take this day to truly give God the glory, to take this day to truly walk in his image, y'all, and truly understand that he has a purpose for every single one of y'all. Every single one of y'all, he got a purpose for, y'all. So understand that. And yeah, I agree with everything you said, Auntie. I agree. What's up, Berlin Cut Right? Happy Easter to you, man. Happy Easter to you too. Um, I'm gonna get off though, because I literally gotta go to church like in like 5 minutes. So I'm gonna leave it on here. But feel free to anybody who's new, subscribe to the channel. I'm always on here trying to talk about God. I go live a lot, and yeah, man, like also another book that I would suggest that y'all read is this one right here. The Screw Tape Letters. This is a great book on understanding how Satan, how the demons think, how they try to look at gaps and weaknesses in our character, and how he tries to attack it, how he tries to, set up these pitfalls for us to fall into. So I would just suggest this book by C.S. Lewis. Another one is Mere Christianity, and that's another one I need to dive deeper into. But yeah, man, understand how the devil works, because once you understand how Satan is trying to attack you, then I feel like I mean you should trust God no matter what. But it really allows you to trust God because you see that no, 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 God ain't just saying this. Satan really is trying to come at me like this. And so I'm gonna leave it with that, y'all. I love y'all. Have a blessed, blessed day and shalom. And I love you too.